Another update on the Hermes class build that I'm doing. So there's the upper saucer with the hanger decks painted in blue. It's kind of a strange blue to have on it, but that's what the diagram shows. I've got my two top strobe lights installed there. This silver tape that was put in this, because this was a kit I bought on eBay from another builder who kind of gave up on this build after starting it. The silver tape is kind of cool looking, I guess, but he did a lot in here that he really didn't need to do, like painting certain things black here on the inside after all this tape is down. But it's making it easy to put the LED strip tape in, because the tape just sticks directly to this silver tape. But it's just kind of a strange kind of way to do it. It's much more cost effective and faster and simpler if you just spray the inside black and then you spray the inside white. No need to invest the money in this silver tape, whatever this is for. I don't know if this is insulation tape or whatnot, but what an enormous amount of work that this person must have done to put all that tape in there, and then put in all the glass pieces, the window pieces, and then to paint over all the mist areas with black. All you've got to do is just spray the inside black and then spray it white, and you're good to go. You can even kind of blow that off too and leave the inside perfectly clean and do your light blocking exteriorly. Just paint the outside of the model black first with a good coating of black, and then start applying your your other coats of paint, whatever colors you're going with, on top of that. That's one way to get around the difficulty when you're building the Enterprise version of this kit with the hangar bay, because if you actually try to light block elements of the hangar bay and you try to light block the secondary hull itself, that little bit of paint just takes up the microscopic amount of room that you have in there to make everything fit. And if you just leave it all alone and do your light blocking on the exterior, it'll come out a lot nicer. Now here's the warp grill, and you see I've put in the segments there just like you see on the Franz Josef blueprints. I like that effect. It just makes it a lot nicer look, having it segmented like that right off the plans. This is an old piece of that I did a long time ago that I just use as a template for all the future ones, and this is what I stick in the nacelles when I'm doing my paint coating to keep the paint from getting inside of the nacelle when I've done my light blocking on the inside. So here's how the nacelle is shaping up right now. I've stuck a little piece of styrene in there, and then I'll finish that off with some putty to level it all out. I've got my LED strips in there, and I've got my flashing white LED bulb at the end here that'll give a nice pulsating effect to the warp globe that goes on the back. So there's just the rough mock-up. I just think this looks kind of cool, having all four on there. Kind of bulks up the nacelle a bit. Gives it a sense of more power, even though these are just chiller grills. But there you go. That look right there. That's just kind of cool, I think. So I'll do that for this nacelle, because I've got a couple extra kits with extra parts in there, so I might as well start using some of these up. Kit bash this a bit. And then let me put the segmented thing in there. I don't know what to call this thing. I always have to look at the blueprints to see what it's calling this. It's just the warp core vents or something. I don't know. So that's what that's going to look like. And then putting on this final piece. If it will just snap in there. There we go. So that's how that will look on the underneath. Nice kind of bulked up, more powerful looking warp nacelle that way. I didn't get over to the hobby shop today, the railroad shop. I'm gonna, like I said on the previous build video, I want to try to find some corrugated roofing styrene or something that I can put in here in these vent holes that I've made to kind of simulate the vents that are supposed to be on the neck there. But getting back to the saucer, I'll show you the floodlights underneath on this. I've got a couple of lights hooked up here, and I'll go to power on this. And I'm using warm whites on this one. I usually use just the regular bright white, but I decided to go with the warm white on this to get that effect. So there's how everything will light up that way. And I've got these flickering yellows for the impulse engines. And let me stick my bulked up kit bashed version of the impulse engine section on here and show you what that is going to look like. See, that's just so much more engaging, more cool looking than just going with the straight bland double holes that they have. And what I did here was I put a piece of red styrene on the inside of both of those, and then the yellow lights behind it, and you get this nice combination of the yellow and the red. And all I need to do is frost that red a little bit, and that'll diffuse the light some more. I could also just pump a little canopy glue down inside those square tubes and let it dry in there, and that will diffuse the light exceptionally well too and preserve the screen mesh that's on there, but not as well as just leaving the screen mesh visible from this side. And again, this is all I'm using to do that mesh thing. I just bought one of these frying pan covers to catch the grease. Got this at Dollar Tree or 99-cent store, whatever it was, and been slowly just cutting away on this thing for different builds that I've done, and that's just a nice fine mesh that looks good in engines. Looks particularly good in the Klingon models that I do, and it works really well here on these Enterprise original series ship impulse engines too. So there's that. And now let me show you the floodlights underneath. Shadow this a little bit. Okay, so just putting an SMD into that conical styrene tubing that I cut out, you just get a nice fan of light that will nicely illuminate the registry number there. And that's just a great look. So simple. And makes with that styrene, that cut conical piece of styrene, it just makes it look like it is part of the ship, designed to do that. It's a really nice clean look. And you can see that my phasers from Blap, I've got those coppered in now. But I saw when I went to Blap to order more that he's shutting down operations pretty soon, because he's got his online store disabled for right now. So I texted him. I found his phone number there on the page. Texted him to that, and he's up in Ontario, Canada. And really nice guy, and he got back to me pretty quick and said, yeah, he's closing up. I'm going to be getting into other things, but he may still do a little bit of the resin production that he does. But he's going to put together all the remaining phaser banks that he's got and ship those to me, and he quoted me a really good price for it. So I'm going to have about 120 of those phaser emplacements, these turrets as he calls them, and that should last me quite a while for other builds. These are just the best looking ones that I've seen out there, and I hate that he's closing up shop, and that just seems to keep happening. First my local hobby shop closing down, and now Blap is gonna hang it up. And so hopefully more people will come online with some of these products again, as those of us that keep using it begin to run out, because it's just way too much fun to make use of this stuff and to do things a little bit differently with these builds. So this one's coming closer and closer to being done, and maybe another 4 or 5 days, maybe not till the weekend, before I can really finish it. But I just wanted to give you one more look at how she's coming together. Thanks.